Okay, so I told you guys that I would record a video, so I am recording one. Today has been rather interesting. As I stated before in my first video, there is a lot going on around here. Okay, um, some things that are very unpreventable, and so the only thing that we can do sometimes in life is just be patient. And so I am trying to be as patient as I possibly can. I have reached out, you know, to, I have reached out and have made, uh, I'm going to say 4 phone calls. Okay. But granted, sometimes people just can't pick up right away. So I get that. I understand that. That's just a part of life. You know, we don't always um, get a response right away, right? So, okay, it makes a lot of sense, you know, because um, it can mean a couple things. Um, it can mean that something serious is really going on and taking place. Um, like it went from worse to worse with his mom, or it could be that um, my mother is being my mother. And a lot of times, what she'll do is she will not respond because she's probably agitated or she just doesn't feel like being bothered. And I get that. Okay, we've all had those days where you just look at the phone and you're like, you know who's calling you, but you choose not to respond. You choose not to answer your phone, which you have a right not to answer your phone. So I'm all for sometimes, and I have done it. um, if someone is calling me and it's not necessarily an emergency, you're not going to get a response, at least not right away, okay? I will respond to you, I will call you back eventually that day, but I'm definitely not going to respond to a phone call when I know good and damn well it's not an emergency. You're calling me. I know why you're calling me. I know why you're calling me. And when you're calling me, I know that. Oh, excuse me. Hold on 1 second. Okay, I'm back. I know it's not necessarily something that's important. So, but when it's important, it's important. And when it is important, you got my full attention. You got my response. Like, if it's something that I have to reply to right away, then I definitely will, because I know a lot of times when there is urgent, that urgent call or, that urgent text, um, you have to have an response. Urgent response. So, but it has been a long, long day. for me, uh, I would say last week and the week before, I did a lot of cooking and things like that. I love to cook. That's one of my passions. And I did breakfast yesterday for my sister. She was like, I want some chicken. And I'm like, well, we're not having chicken today, but you know what? You can have some of the most delicious scrambled eggs, okay, in the world. Um, but it has been really, really challenging. Um, Last week was the most challenging um, for me. And what I have learned is as I get older, I'm acquiring a lot more patience. And I have to have patience. Patience is important to have. To me, if you lose your patience, you might just lose everything. And I'm not saying every situation um, requires a person to be like super, super patient. You know what I mean? But it does help to be that way because then you can handle things a lot better in life. You know, my sister, she has autism and she's had it since she was a baby. And as she got older, her autism progressed. Um, and it turned into what is called Cantonian. So there are times, if you can hear her in the background, there are times that she goes off on these tangents. And it's just something she cannot help. Like, she can't help what she's going through. She can't help going off the way that she does at times. She can't help going off on a tangent. And I know that. So by me knowing that and me understanding exactly what autism is and how it can not only mainly affect the person that has it, but it can also affect the people around them. Some people do not have the patience for the kinds of autism because there are so many different types of autisms. There's so many different forms of autism um, that people may have. So many different, you know, just, levels of it. And so if you don't understand that this person, like there are times where she could be quiet, and there are times where she could be conversative, those kinds of things. And then there are times where um, she just goes off, you know. But I say to myself, nobody understands exactly what she's going through more than her and more than God. Like, literally. Whenever she's having a conversation and she's talking, there are times where she's saying something, she's talking, and it's like she's really having a conversation, but she's not talking to me. And instead, she's talking to someone. I oftentimes think that she's talking to God. She's communicating with Him in words that I believe only He would understand. Because I know He understands exactly what's going on with her and exactly what she's going through. And that's it. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not perfect. No one is. And sometimes it does get nerve wracking. It does get a bit frustrating. There are times I have told her, could you be quiet? Making all that noise. Girl, be quiet. Shush, you know, and things of that nature. Heck, I've even said, shut up. Because it was just, it became overwhelming. But then I've learned how to deal with it better. Because I know that she really doesn't know what she's doing sometimes or what she's saying. For her, the way that she goes about her life is the norm for her. Like, that's her norm. Like, we're not normal to her. You know what I'm saying? We're not at all normal to her. Everything that she does is normal to her. That's her norm. And see, since that's her norm, what I learned was to accept her norm. And just say, okay, you know, this is who you are and this is who you're going to always be. You know? And that's just what that is, you know? Some people are easily frustrated. And a lot of times, I've always said, if you don't find yourself something to do throughout the day, and you just are so occupied on just one thing or one person, you will get frustrated. So you have to be able to be more open-minded. You know, really just be able to deal with doing things differently when you have someone that has these kinds of disorders. So, like, there are times, you know, I ask her how she's doing, and she'll sometimes say something like, she'll be like, yeah, I'm okay. And then there are times where it's like, I can see that, you know, she is a bit frustrated. And so what I don't do is, I will never push her to talk, push her to conversate. You know what I mean? I just leave her alone. You know what I mean? I'll just leave her alone. Eventually, she'll come find me, because she always does. She'll come find me. She'll say, are you going to the store? And I'm like, I don't know, you know. And she'll say, get me this and get me that from the store, you know. And I'm like, okay. Or there's times where I could be in the kitchen and she'll say, what you cooking? You making tacos? What you making? And so whatever she likes to eat, she sometimes would expect me to cook those things, but I don't always, cook those things, but I do cook things that she likes. And, she'll end up eating it because, well, not to brag, but I can't cook. um, but that's kind of what me and, my family deal with. I could say I deal with it a lot better, than certain individuals. Some people can't really handle or tolerate her behavior patterns. I mean, like I said, there are times where I have, basically said, can you tone it down? Can you be quiet? And I've come to the full realization, this is her. This is her reality. This is her norm. This is what she can't help. This is what she does. Okay? She is she around here. But patience, like I said, we're going back to patience. Patience is very important to have. Patience is so good to have that it can keep you from a lot of things. It can definitely keep you from a lot of things, a lot of bad things. It can keep you from going off on folks, can keep you from cursing people out. Okay. It can keep you from, losing your job. Can keep you from, harming yourself. Patience is important. It really is. It's one of the keys to life. Like, I don't care what you do in life. If you lose your cool every time you turn around, you're the biggest fool on the planet. Because you're going to always find yourself in these same odd situations because you don't know how to preserve your cool. I don't care who's going off, but sometimes it is really good to tame that attitude and basically take a deep breath. Take a deep breath, be calm, cool, and collected. I mean, I have in the past went off. I went ballistic. Okay, I went nuts. I snapped. And in the process of it all, my anger level went from 100 to 1,000, and all it did was ruin my day. So what I accomplished was letting the person get the satisfaction of knowing that they had teed me the hell on off. And so now they're laughing about it. Okay. And they're clapping their hands about it because they know what they did. They know just what they did. So I've learned now just to ignore. I kind of go about life like, because there's a lot of ignorant people out here in this world. And so how I go about it, how I go about my day, is that we don't even exist in the same world. Or at least you don't exist in mine. Okay? Now that may sound a bit like I'm trying to come off as if I'm better than the next person. No, absolutely not. But I honestly feel like if you're going to have one of those days where you feel like you want to attack people, people do it all the time, where you just want to attack people and get off by doing so. Because what I've learned is sometimes people actually get off on disturbing other people, ruining other people's lives, stealing their joy. They get off on stuff like that. It's the truth. Why? Because they're not happy. So they don't want you to be happy. I learned that. So I'll go about life a little differently, which means that I have a different attitude about things. I approach things a different way because that's very important to me. If you don't like me, okay, if you don't care for me, if you don't care about what I have to say, there's the exit. Keep it moving. You don't have anything to prove to me, and I don't have anything to prove to you. So if what I say and what I do offends you, then move around. Because there are a lot of other people who will agree with me, who will agree that there are people out there just out to get you. Period. They're just out to get you because they're not happy. Not their life, they're not happy. So they want to make you unhappy. I know people like that are not happy. So to see me smile, to see me cheese, to see me feel good about myself, pisses them the hell off. It's a sad thing, but it doesn't have anything to do with me. I didn't make you unhappy. You woke up out of the bed like that. You woke up out of the bed in the morning like that. That was your fault. You know, you woke up out of the bed with that attitude. You got yourself together in the morning, okay? Or for work or whatever you do for your career or job, whatever you do. And you went to work like that. You came to work like that and decided to be that way. To not only your employees, but the customers too. How many people know people like that? Let's just be real. A whole bunch. Just a whole bunch. I mean, I couldn't go a day without basically running into someone who saw me and decided that they were going to be nasty toward me and had a nasty disposition about themselves. But see, the thing about me is I know how to have a conversation with anyone without actually going off on them. I can have that conversation. I'm not saying that I wouldn't raise my voice at least 2 notches. Let's just keep it real. But I know without using profanity, without cursing, to tell them exactly what's on my mind. And that they should not be, disrespectful or rude toward me because I'm not the reason why, you know, you rolled out of bed like that. You did that. You running around here like that. It's not me. You know what I mean? I love myself. I know I'm not perfect. I know I have flaws. I know sometimes I may not be the greatest person to some people. That's just the way it is. Okay, everybody's character is different. The way of the world is different. But one thing I know for sure is that I've acquired a lot of patience. Patience will help a person make better decisions with themselves. Really. If you don't sit down and take time to really think rationally, you're going to make some really awful decisions. I have made them, so I know. There are things that I have said, and there are things that I have done, and I wish I can take it back. Somewhere in time, I could just go back and undo it and change it, and I wish I'd have never done it. I wish I'd have never said it. I, I just, you can't go through life having regrets. But if there are some things that I can change, if I go, and I think everybody feels that way sometimes. If you can go back and change something, I want you guys to leave that in the comments. I want you guys to like and subscribe as well. But if you can go back and change one thing, what would it be? I think everybody would love to go back and change something. The thing about that, as we all know, you can't go back. You can't change anything. Once you do it, it's done. Whatever you do, whatever you say, you can't take it back. Now, you can apologize for it. You can say you're sorry for it. You can repent about it. All those things. But once you've said it, once you've done it, it's done. But I pretty much a friend of mine. We're friends now. But me and him, he actually was the one who started it by saying, telling me to shut my so-and-so, whatever. And so when he said that, years and years of just me taking things off of him, I guess as good as I have been to him, I did find myself shooting back at him because I was like, how dare you talk to me that way? how dare you come at me like that when you know I got your back? Like, come on. I'm like your biggest cheerleader. I'm your ace boon coon. And really, you want to just talk to me that way, but you want to talk to other people that way. You won't go off on other people like that. So I went off, and I realized I didn't have to take it there. That it wasn't worth it. That I'm better than that. And he knows that, you know. And I know it. So I texted him this morning just to see how he was doing, because I didn't want to leave the friendship on just leave things on a bad note. So I decided to text him this morning to see how he was doing, and he texted me back, and before I knew it, he sent me more texts. And I'm thinking to myself, I thought you were done talking to me, after I went off on your behind for coming at me like that, because it was just really ridiculous. But he even told me that he would talk to me later today. So I think he was happy that I decided to text him, because I believe in his mind, he didn't believe that I would ever text him again. He didn't believe that I would ever talk to him again. Because at some point, yes, you do get sick and tired of people's just being disrespectful and rude to you. And you do have to take a stand, because if you don't, they'll keep doing it. But it's just certain things that I said. I feel like I didn't have to say those things, But once again, you were dealing with a timeline of almost 5 years of just complete nonsense. Knowing a person that long and them still thinking that they can come with the same nonsense is just a no-no. So I just had to let them know.